We'd spent just 29 hours on the ground when we abruptly learned that Wuhan was going on lockdown. A rushed checkout, sparked by a 3 a.m. phone call. We headed to the train station as soon as we got word. It's Tuesday, April 21st, and after, I guess it was about 2.5 months, we're headed to Wuhan, first time back. Our journey back to the original epicenter of the novel coronavirus outbreak required weeks of planning. While within China, some cities are easing travel restrictions, new hotspots can suddenly surface, and so too, new lockdowns, which could trap us mid-travel for an unknown amount of time. But we felt this was the moment to return. Clearly, I'm all layered up, some protective glasses, masks, gloves. We're at the train station. Should be about 4 hours, and we'll be back. See you on board. Boarding now, our train. We've noticed it's maybe half full, which is pretty significant given there's next to no one traveling for several weeks. On board, the train attendants collect our passports. They try to place CNN photojournalist Justin Robertson's accent.
Where are you from?
Where am I from? I'm from London.
It is not just friendly conversation, as they want to be sure that we've been in the country for at least 2 weeks, so that we're not potentially importing the virus from other areas. The threat to China now thought to be external. Here, back in Wuhan, it has been almost 3 months to the day that we were here at this very railway station and platform. We have now returned to see what life is like after what was an unprecedented lockdown. Some have described it as brutal, harsh conditions, but the government maintains that it was effective. Our driver here has been telling us that we are his third ride in just 2 weeks' time. So it tells you how slow business has been for him. Get a feel for how the city has changed since this lockdown. That was the seafood market that has now been closed. It's been closed since January 1st. When we started recording Wuhan Seafood Market, police stepped out of a nearby tent to ask us why we were there. He just said, do your thing and get out of here pretty quickly.
You know, I was married here, I had a baby here, I've been here for the past 10 years.
This is home.
And a lot of people, they look at me and they say, like, you know, China's not your home, but it is my home.
It's a sign of two things. One is the sensitivity of anything kind of being recorded and broadcasted from the original epicenter, and the other part of it is a genuine fear of imported cases, as has been mentioned multiple times in state media. And hence, foreigners become that face of fear, the unknown. I'd stop in midday here to go get our coronavirus test. We've gone through quarantine and we've had to be mindful of all of our movements throughout the country, and yet we have not had a COVID test. And so this will be our first one as a team. See how it goes. All right, so we just had our COVID test. How you feeling?
Well, it wasn't great.
No, it wasn't that bad, to be honest. We should get it by tomorrow. Bye-bye. We've just arrived at a public park of sorts here in Wuhan to see increasing crowds over the past few days of people more and more comfortable to want to just be out in a social setting and join one another. After weeks sealed inside your home, this is a luxury. And while many of the businesses here remain closed, the ones that have reopened are changing up the way they operate. As some businesses are trying to come back online, this is how they're doing it. We are at a Starbucks, fast food restaurants also doing this. You can only go up until the box up front. They've got a little table set up. You order with somebody who either comes to the door or you can do it through an app. The idea is you are not to go in to the store. All of this still open business, but also keep a social distance.
Hotels like ours spraying down everyone who walks inside with disinfectant. The elevators are marked with a safe social distance. They provide a tissue to keep your bare fingers from touching the buttons.
We are now headed back to the hospital where we got our testing to see whether or not we tested positive or negative.
We were handed the paperwork showing we were negative, and with that, we could then safely depart. Last month, Chinese media published a report claiming more urns were distributed than reported coronavirus deaths, calling into question the official figures.
We just attempted to go to one of the funeral homes in hopes of seeing some of the grieving families. Police didn't like that we were there. They happened to be positioned right outside. Held us there for a little bit, didn't let us leave, and finally, after a few minutes, we're able to continue on our way. You know, they say that Wuhan might be the bellwether of how the rest of the world is going to move forward. I really question that in the sense of you don't know if it's done here yet. You don't know if there will be a second wave. A far less rushed checkout this time leaving Wuhan compared with 3 months ago. We're getting in the car, we're headed to the train.
On the train back, police carefully examining our passports and test results, allowing us to return to Shanghai, leaving behind Wuhan as it slowly awakens in this post-lockdown era.
Stam fronte a te, stam fronte a te.
Mi nombre es Alejandro Olmedo. Soy cantante de ópera. Yo he cantado en 64 países por todo el mundo.
제 이름은 토라이고요. 그다음에 제 직업은 요리사. 제가 오페라를 좋아해가지고.
La gente dice que es absurdo cantar ópera aquí en Cape Town, pero es increíble porque a la gente le gusta.